She's a bitch. She's a lover. She's a child. And I know this about her. She's a mother.
Hey there, welcome to Go or No,
a show where two queers, that's us, look at some Pokemon designs and give them either a go or a no.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Jamie.
And today, in person for the first time.
Very exciting.
You're
taller than I thought you'd be.
Thank you so much. You're worse.
Yeah.
And today, we're going to be talking about some newly discovered Pokemon from the Hisui region in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Jamie, quick question.
Yeah.
Are you a professional pocket monster creature designer?
No.
Are you at all a visual artist professionally?
No.
And neither am I. So know that we are stupid, but we love these little creatures and love talking about them and thinking about them. So credit to the wonderful creators of these games. Thank you guys so much. Now we're going to pick them apart, not as though we have any power to do anything about it. We just want to give our fun opinions.
Yes. So for me, when we're talking about regional variants or these evolutions, I want to see some kind of subversion. I would love to see a big attitude change or a really notable typing, elemental change. Or you could take something really iconic and just make it very different. I want to look at both and go, I'm happy we have both of these now. And the same kind of goes for evolutions.
I would add on to that if you have taken a Pokemon that I previously was nooch on and had no thoughts, head empty in relation to, and now I am thinking about them, bonus points. Huge, huge bonus points. All right.
Let's get started.
Let's get started.
First up is Samurott, the formidable Pokemon. So for this new Samurott, to be honest, I don't really see something new. If I didn't look back at the original Samurott, I really probably couldn't tell you what differences they did here. So this one to me, it's not very exciting.
Large agree. It is literally just Samurott, and they lowered the exposure ever so slightly and gave it a corkscrew horn. Samurott, I would say, was already an intimidating girl. Mm-hmm. And then they said, what if we made it intimidating? So I don't want to be like, making it dark type is a hat on a hat, but it kind of is. And on the theme of giving nothing new, they gave us a water dark starter. And I would say that aside from perhaps Blastoise, the most iconic water type fully evolved starter is Greninja, who is already water dark. So it's just on the list of like things you could have given me something new on, nothing here is new.
It's a no for me.
It's a no for me. Decidueye, the Arrow Quill Pokemon. I wrote 2 words when I first started looking at this Pokemon, and those words were betrayal incarnate. I was so excited to play a game with Rowlet. I have one regret in my time playing Pokemon games, and as in my Sun and Moon playthrough, I stayed a water purist and I chose Popplio, and I wish I had stuck with Rowlet. I would give anything to have played through my first playthrough with Rowlet into Decidueye. Because here's what they nailed about that. Small round burb friend becomes dark arcane magic using archer, which I loved. So I was very excited to play it in here because I played through this game without seeing what the final evolutions were going to be. And then it became Fighting Chicken number 4. We have Blaziken, we have Galarian Zapdos, we have Hawlucha. Like, we've done It's a Bird and It's Kicky multiple times. So it didn't really give me anything I wanted. And it is actually how I very firmly discovered that fighting is my least favorite type in existence.
Oh.
If I had seen this beforehand and played it then, I probably wouldn't have chosen it, but I would have appreciated it for what it is. However, it hurt me, so I have negative opinions on it.
You're right, like it's just Blaziken, but it is grass type somehow, and I think what they're going for is like an autumn leaf situation, but they don't look like autumn leaves. They could have done autumn leaves. I think that would have been really cool, actually. I probably would have liked it a lot more. But it just looks like an angry chicken, and we certainly have enough of those. I didn't even need most of them, any of them really. I don't think I'm a fan of any of the kicking chicken Pokemon.
At the present moment, it is a no for me.
It's a no for me. Typhlosion, the Ghost Flame Pokemon. So this is a perfect example of what I want to see. They took like just a total personality shift that is really, really, really clear. Like the explosive, temperamental Pokemon that then becomes totally mellowed out, like kind of stoner kind of vibes. He's a little bit, am I allowed to say he-theification?
Yes.
Okay, he underwent he-theification, and I like that for him, them. And I even like that the flame changed. It's not like a firecracker anymore. It like looks ghosty.
I am so sad I did not have her in my Legends of Arceus playthrough. It is both the he-deification, it is both bisexual stoner BF and pansexual goth GF rolled into one. It is an iconic silhouette. Like, I can pick this out in a lineup, and it is unique from Typhlosion, but is clearly part of the same line, and I am obsessed with that. The pearls, which Typhlosion, typical Typhlosion, does not have. This one has little flamey necklace around it, and I am absolutely obsessed with it. And we've had so many Will-O-the-Wisp Pokemon that I really thought it was gonna feel tired, and it doesn't at all. I think, honestly, this is so successful that for me, it kind of makes up for the other ones being womp, because it's the first regional variant starter evolution they've ever done, and I think this is proof that this concept can work. He's Dream Blunt Rotation.
He is, oh, that's really what this is. No,
imagine this thing just pokes itself in the neck with its little flame and then hands you a joint and says, hey dude, how's it going?
Any Pokemon that you're like, I'm adding eyeshadow. That's half the fight right there. This is a go for me.
This is a strong go for me. Wyrdeer, the big...
I know.
Wyrdeer, the big horn Pokemon. I love a deer with a beard. A rare exception to my general feelings towards regional variants, in which I want them to feel like a fun new idea. This just feels like it should have been Stantler's evolution from the beginning, which I love, which I often didn't even think was an option for regional variants, but it's a great way to retcon and retroactively add it in, because of course in Hisui it's ancient, it's like, it just doesn't evolve that way anymore, it's probably somewhere in its DNA, and I love that. And writing it in the game makes me fall in love with it so much more. Spinning like a ballerina. I'm gonna say something controversial. We are recording this in the era of Scarlet and Violet have just been announced.
Yes, they have.
And there's a lot of discourse around Sprigatito. And we want Sprigatito to stay a quadruped.
Yeah.
And Game Freak says we want it to be sexy, probably. Wyrdeer is evidence that those two things can coexist. Because Wyrdeer is not unmasculine and not unsexual the way it's sort of, look at that. Look at that. Tell me there's not something, it's the big horn Pokemon. Tell me there's not something somewhat horny about Wyrdeer's overall vibe, yet it is a quadruped. I think that this is evidence that Game Freak can have what they want and have what we want, and we can land on something solid. What do you think about it, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm happy that you think that. Wyrdeer to me sort of commits a little bit of a sin that a lot of Hisuian evolutions commit. Facially, like head-wise, it just sort of looks like its pre-evolved form. And I think what makes Pokemon so fun is that each stage of the evolution is its own species, you know? And so when the face or head just looks the same, we kind of lose that element of, this is a different creature. But that being said, I really love everything about Wyrdeer. And I do love the beard. I love the beard on the big horn Pokemon, you know?
It's a go for me.
It's a go for me. Ursaluna, the peat Pokemon. I love so much of what was attempted with this Pokemon. I love on the head, it has a full moon, and if you notice the eyebrows are little clouds, and it's supposed to look like a night sky, and that's why they're wonky and off kilter. That is really great. This should have been an alternative evolution to Teddiursa, because you cannot look at my lesbian daughter Ursaring and tell me that it evolves into something. And if she evolves into something, it's certainly not this. I think that if it was just an alternative evolution, we wouldn't have needed so many details to make it look new. Like, it really probably could have been what it is, but without the back ridges, and I would have accepted Teddiursa evolves into this.
Yeah, I say who asked for this. I would like to have a quiet conversation with them about why they needed this. Here's my list, and there's a twist in here, because eyebrows, no, despite I understand now what they're going for with the clouds, still a no. Return to quadruped from biped, I would say firm no. And this is the twist, I would say as a ride Pokemon, it's a bigger no. Because I find that riding Ursaluna is a huge detriment in the entire game. I don't generally like item finding Pokemon or features, and I find it very difficult to use. Maybe I'm just bad at the game, but I have spent 10 minutes sometimes being in an area where I know there is an item, and I am in the red of finding the item, and I can't find it. Riding Wyrdeer made me love it more. Riding Ursaluna somehow made me hate it more. I wish I could deselect it from my menu of ride Pokemon.
Yeah, I get that. Especially because once I got the peat and the black Augerite, I'd never use this again.
I think it thinks it's giving fun mineral, maybe like gemstone miner vibes.
Well, then
And
they probably
it's-
should have done that.
Yeah, because it's actually giving clumps of dirt matted into you know those videos of sheep that like haven't been like upkept and their wool has overgrown and they need to be freed? I want someone to free Ursaluna from this caked up dirt that has emerged around it for its entire lifestyle. Like, and it's normal ground, right? It's just boring. It's boring and bad.
Okay, well, that was interesting.
I saw fan art of a Pokemon that I thought was a spoiler. I think it was an Ursaring crossed over with Sawsbuck, where it had an autumn leaf
Yes.
mane around it. And I was like, oh shit, I got Ursaring's evolution spoiled. That's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be very Keeper of the Woods. It's gonna be majestic. It's gonna have shoulder pads made of leaves. So when this thing, I think it waddles on screen when you first see it, and then it slowly pans up to its little crooked eyebrows. I was hurt.
Livid. It's a no for me.
It is a no for me. Handling both forms of this evolutionary line, Basculin, the mellow Pokemon, and Basculegion, the big fish Pokemon. This is all I wanted. This is everything that I want out of the concept of regional variants and evolutions. Speaking first of Basculin, Basculegion, knowing where we're going, makes me really like this Basculin a lot more. And it's really minor changes, but I love this Basculin compared to the original pair of Basculins. I think it's just because they rounded out the bottom of it. The white stripe just feels fun. I don't know if it just feels more saturated or more intense or edgy, but it just feels leaps and bounds better as a Pokemon. And then Basculegion, this is what I'm talking about, because I couldn't have told you anything about Basculin before this game started. I didn't care about it, and they made me fall head over heels in love with it. Water Ghost, amazing typing. I believe the only, to gatekeep again, like I have for Sneasel in the past, I believe the only Water Ghost type we have is the Jellicent line, who, if I'm correct in my research, was originally just going to be a water type jellyfish Pokemon, and then the game designer was like, we have a lot of water types, we need something new. And they just kind of made it a ghost. And I don't think they changed really anything about it to make it really ghost-like. So I didn't feel like a water ghost was something we even had before. This is incredible. The storyline. It is fueled by the spite of its fallen brethren because they could not make it upstream and becomes this giant creature. I love it. And the ride feature, just astronomical. I have never enjoyed surfing in a Pokemon game, really. It's always a slog. It's always 8 out of 10 too much water. It always feels that way. It is now my favorite way to get around. Obviously, flying is more functionally fun, but for most of the game, I looked forward to ending up in water because also it has the double jump and you have the slow motion ghost energy fueling it. There's just so much to love. Its female form, I enjoy less. Not enough to get rid of all of my love for this line, but the male form I just enjoy more. It's the droopy eye. We're already doing a lot. I don't need one version where it's high key and one version where it's low key.
You don't need to explain why you hate women.
Misogynistic.
It's pretty apparent. I don't know why they did a Hisuian Basculin, and if they hadn't said this was new, I probably would have thought this was old Basculin. I love Basculegion. Incredible name, and that matters. I like that there is like a masculine and a feminine version, and I love that the big denoting factor, other than color, is they're like men have pointy little eyebrows and a little bit of facial hair, and women have bushy eyebrows and
More.
lipstick.
Oh. Sorry.
And what?
You say it again. I was gonna say more facial hair.
Oh, yeah,
Because
well.
it reads to me as beard.
Oh, you read, okay, I read it as a lipstick because the masculine, or the male one doesn't have that.
I also love its tail. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's corporeal or not, but it's a ghost, so it's allowed.
I think looking at the official art, it's supposed to be like Dragapult's spectral tail, but given the design style of the game proper, they sort of went with something that looks to me more like squishy, but I think it's probably intended to be souls, and I buy it. Especially when it jumps.
When it glows purple. You know how you feel with a really well executed reveal at a drag show?
Yeah.
That's how I feel when Basculegion turns purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time. I give Basculegion not a no, not a go, but my second ever it is a wow. Yeah, it is so good. It is a firm member of my team no matter what I am doing, which I didn't think any of the ride Pokemon would make because they're around a lot. I love this Pokemon. It is, I think, my favorite thing that was done with the Hisuian variants.
Basculin for me is a no. Basculegion for me, big go. Ready? Are you ready for some discourse? Sneasel, the Sharp Claw Pokemon, and Sneasler, the Free Climb Pokemon. Right off the bat, I really, really like Hisuian Sneasel. It is a very clear vibe shift. Like, I look at this Pokemon and I don't see mischievous. I see like sinister. Like, I don't want to be near this guy, and I love that. And I like a slight color shift that denotes like a very different typing. I really like a very subtle visual change and a really strong personality change. Sneasler, bad. Sneasler, bad. Bad Sneasler. The designer should go to jail and not like rehabilitation, like prison, like a very small box where you can't stand and you're not let out until you die.
Kind of like Sneasler's backpack.
Kind of like Sneasler's backpack. Yes, yes, yes. Which brings me to this Pokemon climbs by digging its toenails into the cliffside, and I found a reference photo, and it is just so I'm sorry, I have to scroll away from it. I really don't like anything about Sneasler, and seeing it animated in the game was somehow more garish. It just looks like it would bully me in Brooklyn when I'm trying my best.
In a previous video, we discussed Weavile, and in it, we had 3 main notes. Note 1, why is it an ice type? Note 2, I wish they kept Sneasel's asymmetry. Note 3, maybe they could have thrown in a bigger claw or a longer feather. I regret all things that were said on this program in relation to this line because they gave exactly what was asked for, and I want no part of it. Back to the Scarlet and Violet announcements and the collective fear our community has around Sprigatito. This is what we're worried is gonna happen to Sprigatito. You would think that the ride aspect would somehow improve it because you're like, okay, well at least it needs to do something, but you're right, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, and it like just doesn't even like, if I'm like riding a mountain climbing Pokemon, I really don't wanna just like be in a backpack. I wanna ride like, I don't know, like the canyon crawlers from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And you thought it was gonna be cute. You were like, oh, it's 2 little eyes poking out of the bag. And then the more you do it, the more it feels more sinister.
I actually saw fan art of like you leaning out of the box, just like chilling out. And I was like, oh, cute.
Not
and
the
then
game.
I saw it and it's just cartoon eyes. Yeah, it's pretty bleak. You're just role-playing as Sneasler when you're riding this Pokemon. Like, you can actually just play the whole game from then on as Sneasler. And aside from battles, you will be allowed to interact with all characters as Sneasler. Sneasler's your new mommy.
The proportions, the silhouette, it's just a person. And this kind of my sin that I was commenting on earlier, it's really just the same face and head as Sneasel. And that to me makes it just look like Sneasler is a Sneasel variant and not actually a true evolution, which bothers me.
Hisuian Sneasel, however, entirely different conversation. Love everything about it. Love the type change. Why wasn't Sneasel always a poison type? It's always had a slightly purple violet aspect to it. That makes so much sense. I love that it just gets so much more aggressive in the game. The stark white, the purple color palette, it just looks so good. I would say that regular Sneasel is main season Sneasel, and this is All-Star
Sneasel.
This is exactly, you're getting the exact same thing, just way better, and they clearly just had a longer minute to work on it.
She got her fillers.
She got
her All-Star fillers.
She got the All-Stars claws. I don't really know, but
Sneasel for me, big go, and Sneasler is a very, very strong no.
Braviary, the battle cry Pokemon. I feel like I've already played with this Pokemon. I feel like Galarian Articuno feels very similar, and I feel like regular Braviary feels pretty similar. I don't get the narrative of American Eagle, but make it Psychic Third Eye Galaxy Brain. It does get points for being an amazing ride Pokemon though. I really didn't think the game could be more fun, and then as soon as they unlocked the ability to fly, it was like, game changer.
Legends Arceus a lot of in-game Pokemon I don't think hold up to their official artwork, but I really like the way that this looked in-game. I definitely agree it's so close to Galarian Articuno, which is strange because it feels like we just got that.
It's a no for me.
It's a soft go for me. Quillfish, the balloon Pokemon, and Overquill, the pin cluster Pokemon. I could have done with a bigger difference on Quillfish, though I think this is cooler than the original Quillfish, including the under eye, the pink under eye. I think that's really fun. Overquill is so stupid, and it's so wild and campy, and they drank their naming juice. The person who named Basculegion, I promise you, named Overquill, because this name is a fucking 10 out of 10.
It's literally you look at it and go, that might be a little overkill. And then it goes, yes, it is. And then you go, wait, it was.
My one note, I could have done with a slight color change.
A prompt that I grow weary of in the Hisui region is that I do feel like every regional variant has sort of a uniting theme. I feel like Alola is very these Pokemon flourishing in a new environment that's perhaps a little less industrial. I feel like Galar is just what if they were British all the time. And I feel like Hisui is their lives are harder and they do not survive. And I do grow.
They're like edgy.
It's literally I literally wrote down that this is the edgelordification of Quillfish. That I don't, with Quillfish, I actually don't dislike. Something I just noticed that's so stupid is that on its tail, I noticed it was a Q, but it's a lowercase q for Quillfish and then a capital Q for, I love that it's kind of Quillfish but bigger, kind of a sea urchin, kind of an ocean mine. It has a lot of elements going on that I really enjoy. And of course, the eyeliner.
Quillfish is a go for me, and Overquill is a really strong go for me.
Quillfish is a go for me, and Overquill is a go for me. Goverquill.
Ooh.
Welcome to Goverquill.
Overquill.
So wait, what is regular Quillfish? It just has 2 little dots on its tail. You know what this is also the perfect example of? When was the last time you thought about Quillfish?
Nair.
Now.
Nair.
Now I think about it pretty constantly. Zorua, the spiteful fox Pokemon, and Zoroark, the baneful fox Pokemon. Zorua gives me Alolan Vulpix feelings in terms of, oh, I loved that Pokemon. Oh, I'm remembering how much I loved the first one, and then you've given me something fun and new to play with. I love how long its little will-o'-the-wisp ponytail is. I just want it to whip it around, and it's very, very cute. Zoroark, I also really enjoy. I will never use this Pokemon for all of the reasons that I enjoy it. It is very much not for me. It is very scary, very intimidating. It is dark and nebulous and has this like sort of eldritch silhouette to it with all of its wisps going around. And I think that is very, very cool. I honestly can't even look at it straight for too long. I like discovered it in the game and like checked off that little box and then very quickly put it in a box because it just feels too powerful for me. Para me. The typing feels a little shoehorned in for me, but I'll allow it. It feels very much like they were like, oh, what haven't we done yet? Ghost normal, let's go ahead and do that. I kind of wish it was fire ice. Except for Galarian Darmanitan's Zen mode, we haven't gotten a fire ice type.
And I would have bought this without any design change. I would have bought this as a fire ice.
Yeah, it kind of feels like they designed the Pokemon and then they were like, the type we could kind of go either way on. We just really like this design.
She's a bitch. She's a lover. She's a child. And I know this about her. She's a mother. It's 2 Pokemon whose whole deal is that they're haters.
The way they differentiate between Spite and Bane, because they're different.
They're definitely different. I am full of both. I love the blisters. I love the eye makeup. I love that it has like a claw makeup mark on its mouth, and the wig, it is glued down, and she has several long numbers. I'm saving my big bills for her and several of them. The other girls are gonna get the ones. It's all fine, you're still getting your money.
Zorua is a strong go for me, and Zoroark is a respectfully distant go for me.
Zorua is a go for me. Zoroark might be my first wow!
Leave it to a Pokemon built on nothing but Bane and Spite to be your first whoa.
Oh, I literally, from the first they announced it, I was like, whoa!
Did you try saying wow?
I tried.
I just couldn't remember.
It's harder than you think.
Wow.
Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, can you do it again?
It's hard.
I know. Wow. Yeah, there you go.
All right, so.
Oh, no.
Goas and Gaius.
We must decide the Goas and the Gaius. So, the Goas Pokemon today is Hisuian Typhlosion.
It's my poster child.
Talk to her. Talk to Hisui and Typhlosion.
Just in general, I would definitely hang out with you.
Making haters eat it like time for dinner. Mad because your man wants an All-Stars winner.
The gayest Pokemon is Overquill.
Category is maximalism.
Impractical accessories.
The mani-pedi of your worst nightmare.
Putting the Q in LGBTQ.
I said lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, Overquill, and questioning.
You can look, but you can't touch.
I want to kick it, and I know it's gonna hurt, but I really want to kick it.
It's like when I wanted to eat Porygon Z.
Yeah. Wait, hang on. We're kind of giving Overquill. Today, rather than a straightforward donation to a cause you care about, we are recommending that you start your own mutual aid fundraiser on your social media platform of choice. It is extremely simple. All you need is to post the little bingo card that we have down in the description, or you can screenshot it right here. You can post it on your Instagram story, and it is a great way to collect resources from all of your friends. So let's say that you only have $10 or $20 to give this week, your friend only has $2 to give this week. You can pool all of that money together and raise, let's say, $100 for somebody who needs it.
Because we don't have a lot of money to give, but if you organize your whole friend group or your community, all those tiny amounts of money end up to a big chunk that will mean so much to somebody who, for example, can't afford groceries right now. You could raise money for food relief, rent relief, medication, whatever a person might need right now immediately.
And if you use Cash App or Venmo, make sure to put an unrelated series of emojis in the payment description.
You can do emojis.
I'm not gonna animate emojis.
Bring in the Zoro arc.
No! And with that, thanks for watching Go
Or no.
Bye.
Are we done?
I think so.
Work.
Bum, 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 bum.
Bum.